Hello, today we're going to take a look at our cash receipts module. That happens to be one of our financial modules, and you can actually select just cash receipts. Even if you're not using anything else, it will allow you to receipt transactions from utilities, property tax, municipal courts, AR, and even any miscellaneous receipt. So it allows you to handle the money once at the counter and create a receipt, a system-generated receipt. So let's take a look at how it works. Today we're going to go ahead and take a payment. And like I said, this is just like a cash register. So if somebody walks in, and I'm sure most of the walk-in traffic, somebody's walking in to pay their utility bill, you would just hit utility. If you know the account number, type it in. However, if they walk in without their bill, you can look them up. You've got the exact same search that you've got in utility billing right here at the counter. The same is true for tax billing and municipal courts and AR. So I'm going to look up this customer, and I'm going to say it's Ace Office Supply. And what it's going to do, it's going to look at the balance in utility billing and let me know right now what they owe. So it's saying as of right now, Ace owes you $143.07. So you're confirming, yes, this is the right customer. If they are going to pay the entire amount, you would accept it. However, you do have the option here. Let's say this customer only wants to pay $100. So you can overwrite that and it would do the partial payment. I'm going to go ahead for this example and say they're going to pay the whole thing. And at the same time, they're letting you know they need to get an animal license. So you can receipt all on the same receipt for multiple transactions. And so you're going to define all those miscellaneous things here. And you've got a table here that you're going to set up. And it's going to bring in things like, okay, is it a license? Is it a permit? You can have transactions that are set dollar amounts, or maybe they're always different. In this example, I'm going to say we're going to get an animal license, and I'm going to say okay. And it's going to do a running total. So if this is all they want, I'm ready to take the payment. So I'm going to hit payment. Now, in this scenario, you're going to define in the setup what methods of payments do you allow. We're able to, let's say they give me $200 in cash, it's going to make change for you. You might have a situation where you've got a roommate and, both of them give you a check, so you can even mix and match. You might have two checks in cash, all on the same receipt, and that's going to be in the detail when you look this receipt up. So you go ahead and receipt it. It will print a receipt. Cash drawer pops open so you can put money into the till, and you're finished. You handle the money once. Because here's what's going to happen. When you do post at the end of the day or at lunch, it's going to send the $143, this amount, to the utility system. It's going to create a journal entry to the animal license into the general ledger. So if you are using our general ledger, no more journal entries for miscellaneous transactions. If you're not, you're still going to have that information on a report, so you can go record that in your system. But if you use our general ledger and obviously the utility billing, it's going to put the money in the right place. Now you might have a situation where somebody walks in and maybe the only thing they know is their name. And you're using our master directory application, which allows you to pull together. So if this customer has, let's say, multiple tax records, utility records, and an invoice you've sent them, you can look them up and we can bring in every balance. So in this example, there's 2 tax bills. Now there might be 3 utilities and an invoice, so we can bring in all the balances. You can select all, or you can pick and choose which ones to pay, and at the same time add on to miscellaneous things. So if you do have that scenario where somebody walks in, they've got 1 check, you can bring in all their balances pretty easily. Now, as I mentioned, you're going to handle the money once. So you'll go through your normal daily process. We've got end of the day reports, but once you've balanced your cash drawer and you hit post, it's going to send the money to all the correct applications. So we're going to send the money to utility billing as if you entered it in there, tax billing, municipal courts. We have an interface to our AR module. And any miscellaneous transaction will post right into the general ledger as if you created that entry. Now, other things you might do, you might have a customer and they call you and they need to get a copy of their receipt. You can easily look them up, and depending on what they can tell you, you can find that receipt. You can look it up by cash drawer, you can look it up by name, by receipt number, dollar amount, or date range. So whatever combination you can search your database, find the receipt, and if you hit print, it says reprint. So even if this was 10 years ago, I can go back and reprint any receipt. So you don't have to keep copies, you can always reprint, and it's available in the system. Now, a couple of other things you might want to do. You might get requested to get a report of everything you receipted, maybe for the entire fiscal year. Or maybe the auditors want to see everything that this one cash drawer receipted one day 5 years ago. So depending on what the scenario is, you can run this report by cash drawer. You can do it by transaction date. You can also sort it several different ways. So if you want to do it by the receipt number, which is the system generated receipt number, receipt type. So if you're going to the bank, you can sort by check, cash, credit card, money order, whatever you accept. Subsystem is going to pull it by utility payments, tax payments, invoices, citations. We even can do it by the customer account number or even the general ledger account. So let's go ahead and I'm going to receipt it by check, cash, money order. So I've got a report. It's going to subtotal, by check, cash, and at the bottom I'm going to know how much is going to what area. So this report can be ran at any point. You can sort it any way you want to see it. So lots of good information here. And as I mentioned, all of our reports you can print to Word, print to Excel. You can also email it or maybe create a PDF. Now in the setup, this is where you're going to define those miscellaneous transactions. So things like that you receipt all the time, you can give it a code, you can give it a name, you can even have default dollar amounts so that it's always the same, or it may be always different, but you're going to define the accounting so that it will know what journal entry to make for you. So this is a very easy application to go live on. It's just like a cash register. You handle the money once, you're able to easily create that receipt for the customer. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're one of our utility customers and you don't have anything else, you can get just cash receipts and it works with your existing utility application. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please let us know.